I am here in the hills above our valley to introduce a story that took place not too far from here. It's a tale of heavily armed gunmen and their quest for a fugitive Native American of Paiute descent, known only as Willie Boy. It's been referred to as the last Western manhunt, a 2-week-long trek across the deserts of the Riverside and San Bernardino counties back in 1909. The pursuers were the members of a posse organized in Banning. Their goal? To bring back a Native American of Paiute descent known only as Willie Boy, dead or alive.
What the hell does he want to go to Palm Springs for? What's he got there? A bunch of lungers living in tents and some Indians he don't know? God damn it, he should be headed to 29 Palms where he can get help. He should be heading up the Dry Morongo Pass.
One version of the Willie Boy story was released to moviegoers in 1969. Titled, Tell Them Willie Boy Was Here, it starred Robert Redford as a fictionalized lawman tracking the armed fugitive, played by Robert Blake, across the desert.
Willie Boy is here!
Much like that film, the actual story began with a tragedy on September 26, 1909. A tragedy fueled by a forbidden love. Willie Boy loved a Native American girl named Carlotta. Her family had moved to Banning to work the fruit harvest.
They were extended cousins, but they were from the same bloodline.
Carlotta's father, William Mike, also known as Old Mike Boniface, was a spiritual leader and medicine man. He was opposed to the relationship. Historian Kenneth Gentry explains.
He basically found his daughter with Willie Boy up in 29 Palms and told Willie Boy never to see her again, took her away. He wasn't ever allowed to look at Carlotta ever again. And about a month later, Willie Boy followed him down to Banning and then showed up at his house at night.
There were no witnesses to confirm what happened next. It is believed that Willie Boy went to ask for Carlotta's hand in marriage. But before the night was over, Old Mike Boniface was dead with a bullet through his left eye, and Willie Boy and Carlotta were on the run.
In all sincerity, it was probably a murder. He took a rifle to go get a girl, which is to say somebody died at the end, but Mike's wife waited 9 to 12 hours before she actually reported it to the police, which leads one to believe that if it was a murder, it was at least accidental, which is to say a lot of people will say that she did that because she was fearing Willie Boy. Just as many people will say that she did that to give them a head start.
The Indian man wanted to marry a daughter. It wasn't uncommon for the young man to kill the father. Yeah, we're on the reservations, you know.
Yeah.
But the problem was they got inside the Banning city limits, and that brought the white man's law into it.
And from Banning, a posse was organized.
Originally, it was a sheriff. It was 2 Indians who were working as guides. It was just a small group of people who were right there at the time, set out after him. After a couple of days, it doubled, and then after a couple of weeks, it ended up, as I said, well over 200.
During one encounter with the posse, Carlotta died of a gunshot wound. Whether the bullet was fired by Willie Boy or one of the deputies is still unclear to this day.
She was shot from about 300 yards behind and above. If Willie Boy had shot her, he would have been face to face. It would have been an intimate act, if you ask me. He definitely would have shot her in the back, and furthermore, if he did, I really doubt that the posse wouldn't have heard that shot and then found her warm body, which is to say, someone shot her with a rifle in the back, and it's believed that it was one of the posse members.
Grandpa said she was shot through her breast from the back. He says, well, it would have been impossible for the posse to do it because they wouldn't shoot at anything that they couldn't see the whole body, including the head, because they were trying to shoot Willie Boy in the head.
Be sure to join us tomorrow for the conclusion of this story. For Our Desert Past, I'm Steve Summerall, NBC Palm Springs, News First.